Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Wendy in Neverland. This is kind of a mixture channel. So I talk a lot about Flosstube or cross-stitch type of things, but I also cover things that are going on in my life. So things like my yard, I give updates on what's going on and what I've done so far, as well as things I might be doing. It kind of depends on each time I come to you. So, welcome. I'm glad that you're with me, and we're going to just jump into some things. I do have a few finishes, I should say two finishes, which is far more than I normally have. And we'll talk about some Maynia things that are going on, what I'm doing, and so forth. So, let's jump right into it. So, the first thing that I have finished, and I showed you I was working on this last time. Let's see if we can get the glare to not be on there. So this is Nest Egg. It's by Satsuma Street. I had part of the basket done and part of the goose done, but I don't think I had any of this top part done, and still had maybe a little bit at the bottom to do last time. So I did finish it. Get this behind it so you can see. And there's the lovely, if I can get the material to cooperate, that would be helpful. So there it is. She's so cute. Very cute and Eastery. I did use the called for fabric, which is on a weeks, so it is a little looser than some of the other weaves types of fabric out there. But yeah, so cute. Got lots of the eggs down at the bottom, tucked into the basket, flower. Cute little thing. So, all colorful and beautiful and done. Don't know exactly what I'm going to do yet. I think the last time I mentioned I might make it into a pillow, but I haven't totally decided. So, that is finish number 1. Finish number 2. You had me at Flamingo. So I know a lot of people have done, in fact, I saw somebody else who had finished Nest Egg, and then another person, I believe it's Upton Stitcher, has started doing this. She's not doing the alphabet part at the top. So these are not, and then when this came out, lots of people did it too. But I don't know how many people actually read the back of this, back here. It's pretty cute. So it starts out with the A is for apple, B is for bird, C is for cat. Every time I tried to design the kind of that kind of sampler, I got stuck at the letter F. So I decided to just stop there. So, it's not that she's doing the A is for, she just had some letters up here, but I thought it was very cute that because she couldn't think of anything for F, that she just decided to stop. So that's why that's all that's up there, in case you were wondering why she doesn't have a full alphabet. So very cute. In case you didn't see it, it is hands-on design. So I used the called for size fabric, which I think was 32 count, but I dyed mine. I hand dyed mine because I had seen this at Acorns and Thread, and somebody had used different fabric. I don't know if they had dyed it or if they had got a hold of some fabric that was already dyed like that. I didn't see any when I was there at the store, so I went ahead and did my own. So let's see if I need to put this behind it so you can see. The lighting from the window is not helping things as much as I'd like it, but there they are. So cute. I love flamingos. This is adorable. Very fun. Lots of cuteness. It didn't take terribly long to do, so it wasn't bad. I think other people might have mentioned this, but in case you haven't heard this yet, they use several different types of threads. So you've got Weeks and you've got Gentle Arts, as well as a little bit of DMC. On one of the symbols, I think it's a square and an empty box square, it is used twice for 2 different colors. on the chart. So you need to be careful. I think I knew that. I'd been told that, but it had been long enough ago that I had forgotten about it. So when I was looking at the pattern, I had already stitched one color using, actually I'd stitched one color, I think it was in the Flamingos possibly as one of the colors. And I went to do the other color that used the same symbol. And I grabbed the right color because it was like a green. It was completely different. It wasn't pink or coral, it was green. And I happened to pick the right one because I knew that that was what it was supposed to be. It wasn't until later that I realized, wait a minute, there's two colors using the same symbol. So luckily I'd used the right color for each time that same symbol came up. But be careful. Make sure you're grabbing the right thing. I think you're going to know because if you're working, I think it was, let me grab this again. I think one of the colors is up in here or somewhere. And obviously that is not one of these. So if you saw the symbol for this color up here, you're going to realize, wait a minute, something's not right. And probably realize that. But just in case you want a heads up, there, you've got it. And hopefully you'll remember because I forgot. That is what I have been working on for the last 2 weeks, apart from Maynia, because we've already gotten into May. 3 days so far from when I'm filming this. I haven't done any stitching yet today, so that's going to be different. So what I had decided, and I had told you this in the last video, that instead of going back and working on all of the whips that I had, that I started in January, that I was thinking about just fully working on my HAED because I had touched it one time since January and I really wanted to get more done on it. I just wasn't getting it in my rotation. So that's what I'm doing. For the last three days, I have just completely done my HAED. I worked on something else. In fact, let me grab that because it's right behind me because I did want to show you that. I forgot about this actually because I only work on this like once a week, if that. Sometimes it's not even that much. And I've shown you this before, the T-ball ornaments. Heartstring sampler, in case you hadn't seen that before. I had started a second T-ball and I had shown you the progress on that. It's the tree one, so it was this one. And I've been showing you the progress that I've been making on it. I did finish the way I want it finished. So it's not exactly the same as the pattern, but it's close. So here it is. And as you notice, it does hang it looks like the pattern is tilted a little bit to the side, and that is because of how the grid is on the strainer. So it kind of has to be that. Can't be perfectly straight up and down on both of them that I've done so far are a little off. They sit sideways a little bit, but most of the time it doesn't matter because it just doesn't. This is the one that I did over one. The first one I did over 2 squares. So this is a much tighter look. And I ended up using 2 threads to do this. And I'm conflicted about it because it's a little tight with the 2 threads. But I did try to fill in one area with just 1 thread on some of the other color. And I didn't like it. It was too sparse. It didn't look right. So I pulled it out, the 1 thread, and I adjusted the pattern accordingly. So what I did is that these little corners down here with the red, we're supposed to have alternating white, or the ecru color here, as well as this brick red color, just in this corner here. And then on all of these little triangle parts, it's supposed to do the same thing. Because it's so tight, I decided not to do it. It just, with the tree, it's okay. I did every single square on all the trees. I didn't alternate or anything. But because you're adding another color in there, it's just so tight that I alternated it by not adding the extra color. And I think it looks fine. I think it looks great. these remind me, reason I did the white, just the white here, is it kind of reminds me of snow piles, little snow piles. And I think it's just a little cleaner look as well because of, you know, having it over one. There also was some white in this that was supposed to be in the center, just around the center part. I'll show you that on the pattern so you can see there's white here. I didn't add that either because I had kind of scrunched things down a little bit. I'd come in a little bit, and so I decided not to put in the white there either. I think it just looks cleaner and nicer that way. Something I am considering, because I'm going to make more of these, I think I might do the other two, and then I have the small balls because these are the larger ones. I'm considering adding beads, really small seed beads to it, or at least some of them. Give a little sparkle, we'll glam it up a little bit. So yeah, I don't know about that yet. Or maybe I could add it so that it is just around like edging or something and not as part of this. I don't know. I'll have to see what I want to do, but that's an option I'm kind of throwing around as well. So I forgot about this. Well, I'm glad it was right here because I didn't want to have to stop the video or else go run and get it. So the Maynia plans, as I mentioned, was the HAED. So what I am working on as my HAED, in case you haven't seen anything yet, is the treasure hunt bookshelf. I have made it halfway up. I've done all of this bottom part. As you know, you don't make a ton of progress on HAEDs. So for the last 3 days, I'm impressed with how much I actually have done. I've done over 500 stitches within those 3 days. The first day, I think we had something going on a little bit, so it kind of, I didn't have as much time, so I think I may have gotten 60 stitches in that day. And then the other 2 days were over the 200 mark. This just, as you can see, buku amounts of color changes. Confetti heavy. Just can't even say that enough times. So I'm changing colors a lot. It changes a lot. And not even, I don't do the parking method because I just don't really want to. I don't want to have to try and keep track of all of those threads and where they're going. Because there'd be so many parks, so many different threads parked. I just don't even want to, my brain just kind of goes into overload when I think about that. And they don't necessarily get used often enough. I mean, right now I am in this area, so there is a lot of yellow, but then you get a little bit here, and then who knows when I'm going to get to it again, and the colors just change too often. So I just stop and start every time that I'm using threads. I do cross country a little bit. I do go back and forth. So I follow about 10 or 20 rows across approximately. I may go a little bit into the other one, you know, the third block, or I may not even go that high. It kind of depends on what colors are being used and how often. So I work my way across and I come back and cross and back, and I weave it up and go along that way. So that is what I am doing for this. And instead of trying to hold it up, because if you've seen it before, it's on a humongous scroll frame and it's really hard to hold it up and show you what it looks like. So I'm going to show you a little clip of the before. And I think the before was even before the one time I touched it in the last 3 or 4 months. So there might be even more than that 500 stitches that you're going to see done. And then the next clip will be of me showing the progress I've made so far. And I'll just show it, you know, holding the camera just face down in from the top view. So that's how I will show you the work on that. So I've gotten there. Just kind of as a little side note here, I'll show you my box of goodies. All of these lovely, these are all the ones I still need to do from January. So I am not at a loss for something to get done. There's a lot here still. Let's see, the January ones that I did, I think I've finished 3 things. I'm really close to finishing a 4th because I actually got the 4th one. I finished almost all of it in January on the day that I stitched it because it's a pretty small project. So they're getting there. Some of them are obviously much bigger and they will not be finished this year because I have already touched about 8 of the 31 things and I've only finished 3 of them for sure, like actually finished. So there's 5 that I haven't even, that aren't gonna get touched again this year probably, and won't be finished this year, so that's something to look forward to later. I know lots of people are doing lots of Maynia projects and lots of SALs. I've seen lots of people working on SALs, so everybody's busy out there, and I know with all of this stuff that's going on that you're kind of stuck at home and getting all that done. Moving on to some other stuff, I have worked in my garden or yard, or whatever you want to call it. I did a little bit more in the back. So if you watched my last video, I put in some more flowers and some decoration stuff, and I added to that a little bit. So I am going to show you what I have accomplished around my yard so far in the last 2 weeks. Not as much as I wanted to. I've kind of been putting it off in some of the days that I could have gotten out there, but it's been raining off and on, and so then the ground is still wet enough that it just makes it hard to get yourself out there. So here's a little clip of what I have done so far. So here are some of our lovely flowers, just a few. Not sure what they are, but they've already got a bunch blooming, and as you can see, all those little pods are going to pop open with flowers as well. So it's going to be really pretty. This is by our lamppost. Eek. Some of the other things, the new roses I put in are getting close. Our iris bush is getting ready to bloom. I think we've got another one on the other corner, and it's already getting, I think I see purple already. I have this lovely bush, which is, it's on the ends of its being blooming time. The other ones on the other side of the driveway are already, they don't have any flowers left. This little area I just did, so I put in the brick part on both sides and then some here because I wanted it to define a little bit more and keep the bark dust where it needs to go. Plus in the center part I'm going to put some pea gravel with stepping stones. I don't really want to step on the pea gravel because it's squishy and it gets in your shoes and everything, so I don't want to. These are going to be moved. This side of the house is kind of the southeast facing side of the house, and normally it would get lots of sun because you think the south side gets sun, but our neighbors have a whole bunch of trees and stuff, so it blocks it a lot, and as you can see there's a lot of moss, so it stays pretty shady. So with the pea gravel and the stepping path, I want to put like ferns or something in here that like the shade. I'm not sure what else I might put over here. I don't want to put a lot because this isn't used that much. But so the thing that makes me really happy and smile is when I get to look down here and I see the gate, the little fence, and then if I just look a little farther beyond that, it's all the stuff that I've recently done. It's awesome. We'll go down there and look at it here now. These stones here, got that one, and there's some there. I have probably close to 40. There's a couple more over there. They're just holding my plastic down for now, but they were in the front on the other side of the house as stepping stones. But I needed to move them because of the work I was getting done over there, and I think I wanted something different in that spot. These stepping stones I want to use more as, I don't want to use them as a consistent thing that I walk on all the time. That's why this side of the house would be perfect. So, okay, hopefully the dogs next door here aren't going to just totally go berserk, but as I showed you before, I got the bike and stuff. I've put up the birdhouses. Very cute. I'll come over here so you can see them a little better. So I installed the post, the wooden post, and put the green one on top of it. I put this post, it's just one of those metal fence post type things. I put that back there because this is the neighbor's fence and it is so wobbly. You might have noticed when the dogs just now jumped against it. It's so wobbly, I'm worried that it's going to fall over. I couldn't pound it in as far as I wanted to. This is where, this whole area was partially where the bamboo was growing before. And even though we tried to dig up all the roots, it could be that some roots are still in there and I just can't get that post pounded down as far as I wanted to. So because it was sticking up past the fence, I mean, you can see here, it's up there past the fence. I really wanted it down another foot or two to be more secure, but because it was sticking up so much, I'm like, well, I want to hide that a little bit, make it look a little more attractive, so I got another birdhouse and I put it up there. The other thing I did is I did one of my fairy gardens. So I've had this chair since we lived in Minnesota, and I actually did this same similar fairy garden while I was there. This is one I've had for a long time, so I finally did it. So okay, it's just a little like church type of birdhouse, a little fairy angel type of figure. I got a couple of little, well, I've got three. Oh, one of my little rabbits fell over. Oh, let's see. It's been kind of windy a lot lately. So there's another little rabbit. And then I got some plants. This will actually bloom. I think it blooms in little purple plants. And then, of course, I've got some grass in the back for height as well. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to see it. So, sorry about that. It's the neighbor's dog. They go bananas every time we're out here, even though we're in our yard. Okay, so our plants are looking good in all of the containers. They are filling out a little more. I think it's filled out more than when I first put them in there. So, getting there! I'm so happy! It just makes me smile every time you know. And you know, if you work in this kind of stuff, you know how fulfilling it is and how much it lightens your heart. So, as you can see, there's a lot of fun. Don't know what we're going to do about the neighbor's fence. I'm guessing if we still live here at some point, maybe we'll have to talk to them and then a new fence will have to get put in. It's really, really bad. I just can't believe it hasn't fallen over yet. Really, I can't. So, yeah. Hopefully everything's going well with you all. I don't know of any plans that are coming up. Sometimes you know, at this point, you just kind of take things one day at a time, and who knows, you may end up going for a drive or going and doing something else. I see a lot of people who are getting out there and getting flowers so that they can start planting themselves. This has gone on long enough now. People, I think, are just kind of getting a little tired of not being able to get out, and so they're getting, you know, as limited as they can. They're trying to not be out as much, but you know, you kind of got to get out there and get this, or else you're not going to be able to do anything at all. All right, I paused the video because our lovely siren went off, and that stupid siren is for the fire department, and it doesn't need to be used. It doesn't need to go off because even though we have a volunteer fire department, they all have pagers. So they're not called in by that siren. The siren is just there to let people know in the town that the fire department needs to go out, which is really stupid because that's what sirens on their trucks are for. So I decided not to have you suffer through that, and I paused the video for just a minute. Yeah, so getting back to all this, hopefully y'all are getting out and being able to do stuff. The weather's cooperating for you. And all that good stuff. Keep in mind, the Lord is in control. he knows what's going on. He knows that this is happening. This is not a surprise for him, and that everything will come out the way it's supposed to in the end. It looks like we're getting towards the tail end, and some states are starting to open up some more things. So that is a little bit more light at the end of our tunnel, as I've mentioned before. And so it's slowly getting there. Hopefully people will not freak out if there happens to be another bout of this, but we'll deal with it as it comes. So anyway, I will say goodbye, and we'll see you next time.